What's good with you guys? You know who it is, man. It's your boy, Mr. Relentless Lex, and I'm back like I never left this mother. Yes, sirski. All right, so today's video, you guys, we got hip-hop conspiracy theories that might actually be true. Now, this is a crazy video. These are some conspiracy theories that I think we all around the world have thought about, but never knew the actual truth. Facts. They're pretty overdrawn, long ago conspiracy theories, but it still make you think. It still will make you think. And my silences is messing with me so heavy right now, and my eyes are running water. But we're gonna get through it. Pray for your boy Lex and his silences, you guys.
Theory number 1. Suge Knight eliminated Eazy-E and Tupac. Eazy-E's death is where suspicion starts. He went from announcing he has AIDS to passing away in a matter of weeks. Unusually fast for the mid-90s when most cases progressed over years. Neither his wife or newborn son tested HIV positive. That detail always gets mentioned because late-stage HIV transmission rates in that era were extremely high in partners and infants. Then
it really was though. It really was. I thought that was kind of weird. You had Eazy-E that passed away in a couple of weeks. Then you had Magic Johnson that's still living to this day. Bro, they both had money, so you can't say they had a special medicine. You can't say that Magic Johnson had money enough to pay for a special remedy medicine or some type of medicine to keep him alive, you know. Eazy-E was kind of like, hey, you got it, then boom, you gone. Magic Johnson still could play basketball right now if he wanted to. That's crazy. I don't know what happened. What's the difference?
there's Suge Knight on Jimmy Kimmel Live. He laughed about injecting someone with AIDS blood, calling it the Eazy-E thing. It wasn't a joke people forget. It was specific, dark, and tied directly to Eazy-E's death method. Business conflict adds weight. In the early 90s, Suge and Eazy were battling over Dr. Dre, Ruthless Records artists, and the future of West Coast rap money. Suge famously confronted Eazy-E during the NWA/Death Row transition period, using threats and force to get Dre released from his contract. Taking out Eazy meant removing a major competitor and clearing the lane for Death Row's rise. Tupac's situation mirrors similar motives. By late 1996, Tupac was fulfilling his Death Row deal and preparing to launch Machiavelli Records, his own label, his own artists, and his own money pipeline. Pac even mentioned wanting to sign future artists himself and shift power away from the label. That meant Suge would lose one of the biggest stars in rap history and lose leverage. The shooting raises questions. Pac was shot inside a BMW being driven by Suge Knight. Tupac was hit multiple times. Suge, sitting inches away, walked away with a small cut from bullet glass. A close-range hit on a moving vehicle, and the passenger, who should have been equally targeted, leaves nearly untouched. It looked precise, not chaotic. And then there's the fight at the MGM Grand that same night. Tupac and his crew jumped Orlando Anderson, a known Southside Crip. Law enforcement framed the shooting as retaliation, but the theory suggests the fight might have been staged or encouraged, giving the perfect public motive for Pac's murder, while real planning happened elsewhere. LAPD and Vegas PD never linked Suge to the crime, but he benefits from Pac never exiting his contract, never launching his own label, and never walking away with the power he was building. Theory number 2.
Man, that's crazy. It's sad to say that nowadays, bro. It's like these record labels, they're taking out life insurance policies on their artists now. It's crazy, but it kind of makes sense if you ask me. Because for the simple fact, bro, it's like, imagine you being a record label and you giving somebody $100,000 to sign. And then something happened to them a month from that date that they signed on their first concert or something like that. Now you don't have any way of getting your money back. And the way that these rappers are being unalive and the things that they're getting into, whether it's jail time or unaliving or the death penalty in some cases, the record labels are stuck in the hole with the money gone. So it kind of makes sense, but then again, it's kind of like weird too at the same time.
Diddy arranged Biggie's death. This theory claims Biggie's murder wasn't just the result of the East vs West Coast feud, but tied to internal business motives connected to Diddy and Bad Boy Records. Biggie died in Los Angeles on March 9th, 1997. He was in the middle of renegotiating his contract and had reportedly talked about starting his own label, potentially reducing Diddy's control and future profits if Biggie left. There were major security questions that night. Biggie and Diddy left a high-profile industry party hosted by Vibe and Quest Records. LAPD was on site for security. Despite that, the shooter pulled up beside their SUV at a red light and escaped without being stopped or identified.
So boom, there you have it, right there. Pop, LA, red light. Biggie, LA, red light. Pac, trying to get out of his contract, start his own thing. Biggie, trying to get out of his contract, start his own thing. Do you guys see the similarities here in this both cases? Same similarities, bro. They both were trying to do their own thing, and they both was executed the same way.
Multiple witnesses say the car drove directly toward the convoy with precision, as if it knew the route and timing. Former LAPD detective Russell Poole later claimed corrupt LAPD officers tied to death row, including David Mack, may have been involved. Poole believed the murder had inside assistance and connected the hit car to associates of those officers. The theory branches here. Some point this towards Suge Knight, others say if LAPD corruption was involved, the operation would need industry coordination and financial motive, not a random street shooting. There's also the insurance angle and catalog ownership. After Biggie's death, Diddy retained control of Bad Boy's publishing rights, and Biggie's posthumous catalog exploded in value, with Life After Death selling millions shortly after release. Another detail conspiracy theorists bring up, Diddy hired Gene Deal as head of security. Deal later claimed there were unusual security decisions that night, including sudden route changes and vehicles being separated. Deal also said he believed Biggie's death wasn't street retaliation, but a calculated move involving people with information inside the industry structure. No one has ever been charged for Biggie's murder. LAPD kept the case open, then sealed part of the files. Poole later resigned, claiming a cover-up. Theory number 3. Nipsey Hussle was killed for the Dr. Sebi connection. This theory claims Nipsey Hussle's death was connected to his work, highlighting Dr. Sebi and his growing influence in business, health awareness, and community empowerment. Nipsey wasn't just making music. He was building tech workspaces in Crenshaw, investing in real estate, pushing financial literacy, and teaching ownership to the streets. He spoke openly about breaking cycles and building generational wealth without relying on labels or corporate structures. When a rapper shifts from artist to community power figure, people start paying attention. Then comes Dr. Sebi. Nipsey announced he was producing a documentary about Sebi, the herbal healer known for claiming to cure AIDS and other diseases naturally. In the late 80s, Sebi was sued and taken to court over those claims. Multiple patients testified under oath that he cured them, and he walked free. To some, that made him a threat to pharmaceutical corporations. To others, exposing his story would disrupt medical profit systems. Lisa Left Eye Low.
Hey, do y'all guys believe in natural herbal healing? I believe in it, bro. I believe in it. Because think about what were they doing way back in the time, in the days when they didn't have all these medicines out now. They had to have been doing something, bro. Now, you could be taking medicine, you still be the next couple of weeks out of here. So maybe that Dr. Sebi conspiracy theory is a very, very keen one to look into. But it's crazy how he was representing himself in his lawsuit, had people that testify that said that he did heal them with his herbal techniques. And then somehow or another, he's unalive.
Pez of TLC was another high-profile artist who visited Sebi. She promoted his methods and planned to build a wellness center. She died in a sudden car crash in Honduras, the same place she was studying under Sebi. Two famous artists tied to Sebi, 2 deaths years apart. That connection never stopped raising eyebrows. The day Nipsey died, he was outside his marathon store in his own neighborhood. No heavy security, broad daylight. Camera footage shows the shooter walking up, firing, leaving, and then returning again. Multiple passes in a busy area without interruption. That's not typical street violence pacing. That's confidence and timing. Later, Nipsey Nipsey's documentary on Sebi didn't continue as planned. What he intended to expose and the scale of his influence at that moment is what keeps this theory circulating. Theory number 4. Aaliyah's death was orchestrated, not accidental. Aaliyah's plane crash on August 25th, 2001 is one of the most suspicious tragedies in music. Officially, it was ruled as an accident, but every layer of that story feels engineered. Aaliyah was in the Bahamas shooting the Rock the Boat video, but the shoot was never supposed to be there. Director Hype Williams reportedly moved it from Miami, where they were already filming with a green screen, to the Bahamas at the last minute. Some say it was a move to isolate her, because Aaliyah usually traveled with family or her team, and this time she didn't. Before leaving, Lenny Kravitz offered her a private jet, but Hype Williams took that jet instead, forcing Aaliyah to use a smaller plane that wasn't cleared for the load it carried. Witness.
Oh man, bro. Hype Williams probably had known something, but he couldn't tell her nothing. And then Hype Williams took, man, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
Accounts from a Bahamian local claim she resisted boarding the plane after hearing it was overweight. According to his story, she was given a pill to help calm her and fall asleep, and was then carried onto the plane. This testimony has never been officially verified, but it added fuel to the belief that she didn't willingly board the craft. The pilot, Luis Morales, had traces of cocaine and alcohol in his system, and his license was suspended. Just weeks earlier, he'd been arrested for drug possession. The plane itself wasn't even designed for passengers. It was a cargo aircraft, yet somehow it still got cleared for takeoff. And that's not all. 4 days before the trip, Aaliyah's uncle and manager, Barry Hankerson, founder of Blackground Records, went to court and filed a waiver removing liability if anyone got hurt or killed during the Bahamas shoot. After her death, Hankerson's company reportedly received a $90 million payout. Fans have connected these dots for years. A last-minute location change, a missing family presence, a suspended pilot, a signed waiver days before the crash, and an artist who just started talking about independence and control over her music. It doesn't feel like an accident. It feels like removal. Theory number 5. Tupac faked his death. Machiavelli's 7-day theory. This theory claims
Nah, we all still think Tupac is alive, I believe. Sad to say, I think Tupac's still alive, bro. I think the man's still alive. I don't know, bro. There's so many people that's coming on the internet now, still to this day, that look like Tupac, saying that they are Tupac. I'm just saying, I think he's still alive.
Tupac staged his death and disappeared, leaving coded messages tied to his Machiavelli persona. While in prison, Tupac studied Niccolo Machiavelli, a strategist who wrote about faking one's death to defeat enemies. After being released, Tupac adopted the name Machiavelli and recorded the Don Illuminati, the 7-day theory, in 1 week. To believers, he wasn't referencing Machiavelli. He was applying his blueprint. One of the earliest hidden message claims came from an online fan theorist named Mike Frankel. He argued that if you rearrange the letters in the title, you can form the sentence, "Okay, on the 7th, you think I'm dead, yet I'm really alive." In this theory, the 7th refers to the night Tupac was shot, and the 7th day afterward represents a symbolic return, a coded resurrection timeline. No one close to Pac ever verified this, but it spread across early hip-hop forums and became a...
Now, you know one of Tupac's songs, he said, "My every move is a calculated step to bring you closer." He said that though, bro. I ain't gonna hold
pillar
you.
of the Machiavelli legend. The timeline itself fuels the belief. Pac was shot on September 7th and pronounced dead on September 13th. That's 6 days by standard count. But people argue the shooting day is day 1, completing a symbolic 7-day cycle, mirroring the album's theme and reinforcing the idea of a deliberate exit. Then there are the odd details around the shooting. Tupac was known for always wearing a bulletproof vest, especially after multiple attacks and public beefs. But on the night of the biggest boxing fight in Las Vegas, in a crowded area, during a time of high tension, he didn't even wear one. No explanation was ever confirmed. The aftermath raised more questions. Tupac was reportedly cremated less than 24 hours after the autopsy, unusually fast for a high-profile homicide. No public funeral, no open casket. The crematory worker allegedly disappeared from public records shortly after, fueling speculation online. Symbolism in his music fed the theory too. The I Ain't Mad at Ya music video, filmed before his death and released right after he was reported dead, showed Tupac getting shot, going to heaven, and watching over people. Fans didn't buy the coincidence. They saw the messaging. Paperwork inconsistencies kept things alive. The death certificate listed the wrong weight for Tupac, and the coroner report appeared unusually clean. Then come the sightings, especially in Cuba. Tupac had ties to Assata Shakur, who lived there under political asylum. Grainy photos, hotel sightings, blurry street clips, never confirmed, never dismissed. To believers, Tupac didn't die in 1996. He vanished, shed Tupac Shakur, and completed the transformation into Machiavelli. Theory number 6. Jay-Z, Illuminati influence, and time traveler evidence. This theory claims Jay-Z's rise wasn't just talent and business, but backing from elite networks tied to secrecy, influence, and long-term power structures. Jay-Z went from Brooklyn projects to becoming hip-hop's first billionaire. He didn't just dominate music, he moved into luxury champagne, streaming platforms, tech investment, art, real estate, and global politics. To conspiracy circles, that level of access doesn't happen without high-level backing. Symbolism is where people start. Jay-Z uses the Rockefeller diamond hand sign, and fans point out its resemblance to the Eye of Providence symbol used in Illuminati imagery. On stage, in videos, and in photos, the triangle symbol repeats. Supporters say it isn't branding, it's allegiance. Then there's the name. Jay-Z refers to himself as Hov, short for Jehovah, a God reference. In hip-hop, confidence is normal, but conspiracy communities argue that openly claiming a godlike persona while displaying esoteric symbols leans into something deeper, self-coronation. Then there's the photo. An archival image from Harlem in the early 1900s shows a man who looks nearly identical to Jay-Z. Same jaw, same eyes, same posture. The photo spread online for years, fueling a time travel theory. Most call it coincidence. Others say it proves Jay-Z comes from a bloodline or program outside normal time. Even the rise of Beyonce gets pulled into his timeline. Two of the most influential artists of their era, joining forces, expanding power into fashion, film, global touring, and political access. To some, it doesn't look like fame. It looks like dynasty building. Theory number 7. Prodigy was eliminated for exposing hidden power groups. Prodigy was one of the first mainstream rappers to name secret societies directly in his lyrics. Long before Illuminati rumors became internet culture, he rapped, "Illuminati want my mind, soul, and my body." He didn't treat it like a metaphor. He claimed it was literal, and in interviews he doubled down. While others played with symbolism, Prodigy called out names and systems on record. During his prison time in the mid-2000s, he wrote handwritten letters, warning about government agendas, media programming, and hidden influence in hip-hop. Those letters were published online in '08, fueling the idea he wasn't just theorizing. He was documenting what he believed he saw firsthand. His criticisms weren't limited to rappers. He publicly questioned powerful entertainment figures and said certain artists were being placed by the industry before industry plant even became a phrase. He positioned himself as someone trying to wake up the culture from inside the machine. Near the end of his life, Prodigy spoke about writing another book and expanding on his views. Not just street stories, but commentary on power, food systems, and hidden agendas. Then, the setting of his death sparked suspicion. He was hospitalized in Las Vegas during a heat wave, something he historically avoided due to his sickle cell. He was recovering, reportedly stable, and then choked in the hospital when staff briefly stepped away. A lifelong fighter, known with a chronic illness, dies in a medical facility, suddenly, while planning future work. The timing added to the whispers. He was scheduled to perform that same night, and was still active, not fading. It wasn't a slow decline. It was abrupt, controlled environment timing. To believers, Prodigy wasn't just a legendary MC. He was a voice pointing at systems bigger than hip-hop. Theory number 1.
Man, oh man. These were some theories that we all heard before. Now the Prodigy theory, I didn't know he choked. I thought it was the sickle cell that took him out, bro. I didn't know that he choked. That's crazy. How you choke in the hospital? That is crazy. How? I don't get it, bro. That goes to show you right there, you guys. These industries it's all about that dollar. The power of the dollar. They don't care about you or your family, bro. They gonna use you up till they can get what the hell they want to get from you. Make all the money they can make off you. And then make more money. I think they believe you're worth more unalive than you is living, you know? Hey, that's just the way the ball bounces. Anybody that want to be part of this industry nowadays got to be out there cuckoo rockers. Got to be.